Welcome to today's collective reading. This is Trinity Gaia Oracle. As you can see, we have a bit of a guest here who has decided to show up front and center. He's torn between the flickering candle flame and the crystal he's got his eye on right now. Okay, we're going to do some sound resonance to open. So if you are a little sensitive to loud noise, feel free to skip ahead about 10 seconds. Oh, he's so playful right now. You. Curious kitty. Very, very curious energy. I think a sense of boredom almost. Ooh. Or just straight up seeking your attention. Ooh, he is just speaking a lot for you guys right now. Okay, now he's laying on them. Cutie. So, you have someone on the other side or someone's on the other side that are very muchly trying to get your attention. And they're not necessarily coming through clearly at all. It's very, very apparent in the energy coming into today's reading. A lot of stops and goes and distractions. A lot of like squirrel moments, really. And almost to the point of ridiculousness, where it just became frustrating. So let's start here with some advice for maybe how we maybe reframe our initial reactions, because like I said, it's not coming through clearly. Okay. Now, what's really interesting is this ties into a reading that I did, I'd say a couple weeks ago. And this was where the mediator is the future you, and either side is a connection. Whether you're predominantly in masculine or feminine energy, either way, there's two individuals here, and your future self has come back to mediate, to help you find the middle. I'll see if I can pin that in the comments. I don't know if I have enough where I can actually create a link, but that'll at least be pinned or highlighted in the comments for you guys if you're interested in that. So I will read this to you. A third perspective. To find common ground in conflict, imagine mediating between two parties, you and the other person. What would a neutral observer suggest as a fair resolution? This approach depersonalizes the conflict and opens the door to compromise. The hard part with this, which, don't be nudging the camera, you goober. Oh my goodness, kitty boo. He's trying to give you guys affection. Or my phone. Mine. That's another thing with the face nudging. See, squirrel moment, trying to get your attention, your focus. The challenge is having a third party that really is neutral, that has no bias or interest or anything like that to sway either side. And that's where that mediator, being your own like future selves that are already fully in spiritual union, I don't even know how far in the future, but regardless, the highest interest is love, respect, and helping the two parts of themselves communicate. From that perspective, what would that be like? What a mental exercise right there, right? And then paired with it is meta programs. So with that third eye just wide open, just lit right up, connected to the crown, pulling in the polarities, the duality of experience between the red and the blue flame. A lot of red versus blue. It's not really like versus they're not competing. It's a dance between the two. It's a harmony. That's why that third eye in the crown is just lit up. In reading it, because this is all about linguistics, it's important the words that are used. Metaprograms are unconscious patterns that guide how we respond to the world. For example, thinkers prioritize logic and structure, whether that would be the red or the blue here, while feelers lead with empathy and values, which would be whichever the opposite would be of the red or the blue for the logic and structure. Knowing your own tendency and recognizing others can help you to communicate more effectively. So if you're the feeler and you know that the other side of this imagery, of this dynamic is going to be more of a thinker, try to see it from their perspective. And then what could maybe be making you feel a certain way is suddenly it's clear that it's not their intention at all. It's their process is to move through thought, logic, structure. Then they get into the feeling. Whereas maybe you're in the feeling and you're so overwhelmed by the feeling that it takes you a little bit to get to the logic. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is very relatable. Very, very relatable. Okay, so I'm going to leave these out here for us just because that imagery is powerful. For this collective, you guys are at this point where you're understanding this within yourself. You're feeling the value of the logic and not losing yourself in the emotion. And the other side of it is you recognize the power of the emotion and that it does need a way into the logic because it's going to change and affect how the playing field lays out and plays out. It'll affect everything. So to not consider the feeling, the emotion, is like not wanting to deal with part of a mathematical equation because it's complicated. It's still a part of the equation. It's still a part of the physics problem you're trying to solve. Like E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass. What does the C stand for right now? I'm drawing a blank. Oh my goodness. I feel so silly right now. I know that there was one point where I looked at it like the emotion. The emotion is the energy, but it's beyond that. It's beyond that. Oh my gosh, I'm probably going to remember this or have to look it up, but if anybody in the comments wants to leave what the C stands for, that'd be great. I know it's not circumference. That can't be. No, that's just too... Oh, no being attracted to the candle now. Shoo shoo. I like them cute whiskers just fine on your face. Don't make me shoo shoo. You're gonna make me shoo shoo, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, you are. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give you some crystals to play with, I'll give you some crystals to play with. Good grounding ones here, too. Oh, that was loud. I don't want to move it. I like that candle and whatnot being in the frame. It's a focusing, but he wants to smell the candle. And then he melts his whiskers. It's like that moth to the flame, getting a little too close in that curiosity. Changing them, but it's not, I mean, he's not a moth, he's a cat. So it may be altering or changing things, but it's not necessarily consuming. Whiskers are also the way that cats kind of feel their way through the world. So it's a changing of that experience through curiosity, finding the answers that bring transformation. Oh, All right. So let's see what they have here for us. What particular oracle cards would you like to highlight for us today here? This energy, like as I said, it's coming through and it knows that it's not being heard correctly or clearly, or it's trying to speak over another channel, like on the stereo. Like it's trying to break through another station to be heard over another station. Oh, okay, so that's clear. Okay. So what it's trying to speak over is like an old recording. It's just like triggered, like automatically. Oh boy, okay, so the puppeteer and how it kind of bounced out and it landed inverted. So that tells me that there's some freedom here. There's some balance that's being created. The weighing of the, I'm getting very like Anubis Mott energy. The situation has been, all those apples, we have what? 7, partially an 8. I think 8 of Cups energy with that. No more fighting, more words, more poetry. Yes, okay, so okay, we're going to pause here with those. So this is just kind of like reinforcing. There was a point where you and another were, your heart spaces, while linked, were being controlled, manipulated, played by an unseen hand that clearly saw the two of you. And that it's in the reverse means that it's just not a thing anymore. However, there is this kind of leftover remnant that these individuals are trying to reach you through. And they're having to speak over it, louder than it, but you could still hear the old recordings. It's kind of like an AM radio where they kind of overlap a little bit. And yet maybe you're like on your phone in the car talking to someone and the AM radio is coming in. And they're trying to be heard clearly over it. There's no need to fight this, or there's no more conflict. There's no more, I mean, it's time to heal. It's really, my eyes are really being drawn to the taping of the hands. Eight of Swords in the reverse. The rings of Venus. The whole like men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing. Ah, okay. So you might be dealing with some allergies, or someone was trying to send you some kind of inflammation, illness, sickness, allergy, literally. So you don't need to fight this anymore. This is like, this stuff has been, judgment has been passed on it, and there is intervention, and that intervention could be simply from all of you, meaning every past life, every future life, your own oversoul. And that could also be, ancestors, guardians, guides, angels, the guardians that you really identify with. They've stepped in, and there's so many more as well that have stepped in to help you keep this balance. The Two of Pentacles really represents the mastering of that dance of not dropping the second pentacle, which in a connection is not just giving up on the other person, but choosing to try to find common ground, because you have that version of you guys that has come back to help you find that common ground. So that commitment to just never turn on one another, no matter what this puppeteer tried to do, and to celebrate those things with his poetry. And it's got relationships and vulnerability on it right there. It's 9 of I read this as Pentacle, not 1. Interesting. So the 2 of Wands is partnership. It's 2 strong personalities. You guys are very, very stubborn. This is something that you were not necessarily supposed to overcome easily. And yet, I mean, you had it within you. It's just, I kind of get the vibe that this knowledge, it was presented in such a way. Was so, like, I'm getting like 7 of Swords. So deceptions, lies with this puppeteer. And then I have 8 of Cups, the truth and the intuition, the knowledge, the judgment being passed, the scales being balanced. This partnership, you two have been very, very stubborn. You don't need to fight one another. You are what the other has been manifesting this whole time. And yeah, there's going to be some surprises in that. There's going to be some things that you're like, wait, I manifested this? What? It's not like you show up in one another's lives in a like perfectly finished form. You still have some rough edges. You still are, with the 9 of Wands, this is like PTSD card, like the worn out warrior, the wounded warrior. You're tired, you're exhausted, and you just want everything to be perfect. But now is that period where you guys heal, which means you're going to be establishing that you can rely on one another. You can trust one another. That there's a little bit of healing there because it cements, it reaffirms. It's every new layer of the cake. You choose to look at it as a cake and not an onion. Is another layer of which the 2 of you have determined that the other is capable of being in that space, and you be comfortable. And then you go into another layer in and another layer in. But there's definitely tiredness, exhaustion, discomfort. Wow, a lot of wand energy. Discomfort with this vulnerability. But the 3 of Wands represents that, yes, there may be other paths, other timelines, other options, other choices that both of you could make. But you know the world you want to live in. And the world that you want to live in includes each other, which means listening to this part of the 2 of you that's already figured it out and has come back to help these 2 sides of themselves. Because that version of you is already in you. Nothing can come between 2 halves of one person that's whole, which is what this mediator is. But when you're separate from one another in the physical, you're tested, you're tried. There's wedges that are desired to be inserted, and sometimes they do successfully make it there because you have something to learn so that that wedge can't be placed there ever again. So you keep choosing one another. So you don't need to fight one another. Try focusing on the concept that this is something that the 2 of you have consistently been choosing regardless of the obstacle. And are you where you can accept that it is here, that it has arrived, that you can breathe with it and know that you don't need to come with a sword. You don't need to doubt whether or not this 4 of Wands, this foundation, is the one that you have been building this whole time. Get the feeling that a lot of this was like imposter. It would be like someone would wear their energy and show up and try to like get all the bonuses of being them, but they weren't actually your person. So this coming out, like this is like, it's, you don't need to be questioning that anymore. Yes, you can have the thought, but having the thought doesn't mean you create it. But if you nurture that, then you can begin to create that. You can begin to have that wedge drawn if you keep focusing your energy there. And this is the King of Pentacles. So this is slow, methodical. This is not going to be something that is rushed. because you're very strong-willed individuals. You have strong self-esteem, and you know that you're responsible for others with that leadership coming out. Like, you know that the decisions you're making are going to affect others. Maybe it's future children that you know you're going to have. Maybe you're taking care of, a vulnerable adult, like maybe a parent, a sibling. And yeah, maybe there are definitely children involved for a lot of you. And when children are involved, it's a whole nother layer of consideration that comes into play. And this slow, methodical, very logical progression is necessary. It's needed. It's a respect for the lives that you're going to both impact. This could also be soul children. This could be soul tribe. Because when the two of you come together, you're going to affect a lot of change just because you're connected to one another in the physical. Okay, so we have King of Pentacles, or not the King, the Knight of Pentacles. It's like hesitation in coming forward. There is like an offer of love here with the Ace of Cups, but money is something that's weighing on this King of Pentacles energy. And when you're a provider, it's going to be on your mind, especially if you're doing like a new beginning. You're not going to want money to be a problem between you and everybody else. You're going to want that to not be an issue, because a lot of relationships, marriages fall apart because of money. So they don't want to start out a new beginning under strain and stress, because this is where their logic is bringing them, and they are weighing in on that emotional aspect. They're concerned that what should be a beautiful experience with this Ten of Cups will actually be more of an emotional burden. Okay, so we're getting like one side of the story here, but there's no question that this is, you don't need to fight me. I'm not your enemy. I am actually me. Thank you. I do still consistently choose you, and I know that you consistently choose me. This is where we're at. Okay. Okay. So this is where things are at with you guys right now. Okay. So there's something to do with money and stability that they're like, look, like right now I see it being more of a stress versus a celebration. And this is where what's coming through to me from like the higher, for those of you that really are resonating as that individual, or you know someone the other person in this connection is as well, there's a higher view to this. There's a higher purpose to this this time of the money not necessarily being there, right? It means that the two of you slow down and spend some time with each other, getting comfortable with the vulnerability and not fighting one another. And because you're connecting and you're working together and you know this is no longer a thing, when the money is there, you're gonna have a familiarity, a reaffirming of the comfort, of the vulnerability not being so overwhelming. You will have gotten comfortable with one another like that. I just keep getting, this is time to get more comfortable with the vulnerability you experience with one another. Okay, so yes, this is the Ten of Pentacles, which speaks to, the money. Yes. However, I'm going to highlight, we have the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. They're vital. So they're here. They're here. It's just, there's questions about this. There's concerns about this. And it's not the traditional part of this card that was jumping out to me. It's, how determined are you? How focused are you? Do you have the courage to stand up for what you believe in and what you know your purpose is, even though you know it's going to create a lot of waves of contrast in the world around you? People are not always going to like what you have to say. They're not always going to agree with you. And it's not about them. It's not about them at all. That's between them and God. That's not for you. That's not for you. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're not responsible for their choices. You're not responsible for their decisions. You're not responsible for their feelings because of an opinion that you have, and they've sought out your opinion and they don't like it. Well, that's like an opportunity for them to heal. That is not involving you. That is divine working through you to help them have an opportunity to heal. So, to attach personal feeling to that and responsibility is what they may desire for you to do. There's no need for that because you are sovereign with this Queen of Pentacles in the upright. You are sovereign. You may be going through a period of like a glow up of healing, self-care. Like you're newly feeling that sovereignty to a whole new level, and you're kind of feeling out, what does it mean to be here for me? Like you have more energy to take care of yourself, your environment, your body, just across the board. And now you're like, okay, well, where's my new limit? Excuse me. Excuse me. I guess they don't want me talking about that. Well, too bad. You're finding those new ways of giving to yourself because you have that energy and the sovereignty calling it back to yourself. Both of you, like you're no longer dealing with that puppeteer playing around with your heart spaces. You're not. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles in the inverted. You're not watching it anymore. You're living it. You're living it. And it feels somewhat surreal, I'm getting. But with that giggle and like Lenny just being Mr. Playful Curious, wanting your attention, wanting to give affection, wanting your focus. Look at me, look at me. I want to give of myself to this. This is telling me right now that energy that came through with the King of Pentacles and the Pentacles are not there right now, but there is an offer of love here. There is a Ten of Pentacles here. The Four of Cups. Typically, this is like disappointment. To move ahead with fully committing, so on and so forth right now would be somewhatly premature. There would be disappointment. There would be heartbreak. There would be uncomfortableness if you were to go ahead with that. But because this has just been channeled, their understanding on some level, their higher self, their soul, is wanting to reach their consciousness in a way that says, legitimately, guys, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. Exactly what you're needing right now is to not move fast with this. It's to take the time and get to enjoy the blooming of that pentacle because the two of you are somewhatly already in it together. You're already co-creating it. There's Two of Cups here. Yes, it says career failures and setbacks. You gotta look at your hand, right? How many hashtags are there, guys? How many? It's like, there could be none. Like, this is past energy with like the setbacks, and maybe there still may be some learning moments, but you're learning together now. You're not learning alone, apart, separate. And because you're learning together, you're strengthening and reaffirming that this really is what the two of you want, so that vulnerability in relationships where you're used to always fighting and brawling and needing to tape up your hands and protect your bones and your skin and all of that, like your past relationships, depending, like both of you, but definitely one side for sure, has been very much like love is a battlefield for me. Love is a battlefield. I'm used to love being a conflict, not something of beauty. And with the poet here, there was a short I did that was from Rumi that's coming out. in my mind. It's being highlighted. I would recommend, if you're curious, to check that short out, especially with this King of Cups and the upright coming out. Like, this is an individual who has never been able to give of themselves in this way. They've had relationships, they've been connected, and they've wanted to give of themselves this way. But their soul knew that that person wasn't you. Didn't carry the other part of their soul. Didn't have that contract. Wasn't meant to be the one that they could give that to. So the fact that this is here is huge. Definitely recommend checking out that short. Yeah, they want to make that offer to you guys. They do. They have anxiety, though. Okay. So that anxiety is, can they give to themselves? Can they be selfish in reaching for you? Can they give themselves permission to be happy and it not be seen as unfair to those that they're responsible for them to make their happiness a priority? My answer to that very clearly is, the Queen of Wands. The most, like, there is a strong desire for this feminine energy for this queen. Now, queen, king, it's all energy. Masculine, feminine, all energy. It's not about gender. This king could be a woman in your life, not a man. This queen could be a man in your life, not a woman. Taking care of you and your happiness, especially when you're responsible for leading others, and if you're in a position where they are learning how to be an adult and making decisions for themselves about the kind of adult they want to be. They are learning so much by observing how you move and giving to yourself and enjoying your own happiness and chasing or choosing love instead of, this puppeteer being controlled eternally. Like, I'm getting a very clear scenario of, like, someone who sees you as a threat to their position with your person, and or maybe like the people around them, and they don't want you to take their spot, but they're not actually filling that spot. However, because there are dependents possibly involved, they have used those dependents as a means to blackmail your person into remaining unattached to anybody. Or they'll take the kids, or some bullshit like that. Because that's just, yeah, that is in reverse. That is not a thing anymore. There is Four of Wands here in the reverse. The healing has been done, which tells me, like, yes, this puppeteer stuff is no longer a thing. This is just reaffirming it. This King of, I read that as King of Pentacles again. And that too. What is going on here, guys? These are ones. I start thinking clubs when I see it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you have a king and a queen here. This is a pair. They know what they want. There's no question that this is a thing where they... Okay, so that was up. Why are you doing this to me? Because it's like the circle of the thought process, the defense of your right to choose to be happy, and the power that demonstrates in the power of your choice for those that look to you to demonstrate what it is to be an adult in a world that they want to be a part of and actively create in, requires for them to own what makes them happy. And you have two... This queen knows what she wants. This king knows what he wants, but he's like, oh, I don't know, I'm feeling all these emotions and all these vulnerabilities, and oh boy, we have a lot of king and queen. You guys definitely, like, Emperor, Empress, Master Soul kind of energy here. And the kind of energy is just like, yes. It feels kind of weird saying it like that sometimes. I find myself talking about it like that, and I'm like, so we just have two very strongly willed individuals who make their own way in their world. We have the Five of Cups here. You're creative because of, you know what you want to create because you've lived the suffering. You've lived the lack of this. And you know the value of what it is because you know what it is to live without it. And once you've discovered it, you can't look away. You're willing to overcome whatever obstacle is between you and being the other. And this, you know that this is going to happen because you have that higher self coming back. Okay, so this is giving me two things. One, this is forward movement towards commitment, yet there's issues with commitment here. This is definitely more of like an inwardly owned connection, marriage. Like, you don't need it to be defined by a paper. The two of you have already made that commitment to one another. Whether you remember it or not, or realize it or not, there's already that level of commitment between you two. That this is home. This person is my person. Okay, is there anything else that you guys, Spirit, Divine, would like to come through here for the collective? That, the love that is present in everything and everyone around us whenever we have that moment, and the eyes and the willingness and the gratitude, and just to see it, just to feel it and live in it. Is there anything that love would like us to know? Four of Wands. Your foundation is solid. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And this period is a period of getting reacquainted, reaffirming and checking those boundaries and those foundations, that they're sturdy, and looking over anything and kind of going, okay, well, maybe we need to, reinforce a little this here. Maybe we need to, the floors settled a little bit. Just like when you're building a house, you need everything to be level. And when you first build a house, there's like a period of time where that new weight being on that ground, things settle a little bit over the years. You can hear the house kind of groan, creak and pop, and sometimes you need to reinforce it. Sometimes you need to go in there and re-level it. So it's just kind of checking over everything. Let's do a bit of a dance, and this is the Ten of Pentacles. So to me, this is saying don't focus on the money. The money will come. It'll come as a result of what's within. To just live in that appreciation of that love. Yeah. To remain positive. Sun. The sun was a key here. Spending some time in the sun. Circadian rhythms will help you to connect to that. Well, the connection, this whole AM radio, interference thing when you're trying to talk with one another on the speakers in the car while you're driving, and that station is just trying to talk over them. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. Spending some time in the sun and working on those circadian rhythms, that'll help that clear up. It'll help their volume be louder and the interference to quiet. This Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. It'll help you feel more comfortable as well with the sovereignty that you have reclaimed, that it really is fully under your conscious awareness. Two of Pentacles. You guys have defeated this puppeteer together. Two very strong stubborn individuals in this connection here. You guys don't need to fight each other anymore. You get to live in the poetry of it, the unfolding of it. The justice side of things will play out as it's meant to, and you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to fight anymore. You guys are allies, and if there is any kind of feeling for conflict that just doesn't feel genuine, it may be that there's a message, there's a synchronicity, there's an insight that is being communicated for an interaction to come between you and a stranger, maybe, or a family member, or a friend. With that, it's like, maybe it's a dream space. Maybe how you understand what's coming or what you see around people around you, or you communicate to get that heads up from spirit, is in the dream space. But maybe it's more of a like drama that plays out in almost a soap opera like experience throughout your day, and it may be to prepare you to help others, not meant as your person or the connection or your guides are legitimately wanting you to feel this is meant for you. It's meant for you to understand, to be able to understand others. Whew, wow, that was say that 10 times fast. That's a heck of a place to leave the reading. I just want to pull a couple cards on that, just to verify and validate that. 7 of Pentacles. Just typically the watching of the seeds bloom. You're not watching them anymore. You're actually experiencing these seeds bloom. And that is bringing in these 10 of Pentacles, or these 10 of Cups. Yeah, so this process of how this information is coming to you is allowing you to bring in these 10 of Cups. Oh, the flame just went out. Ooh. This is the end of the reading, guys. Spirit is spoken. No more cards. No more cards. This is the last 3 cards here. And this is the Ace of Pentacles. So it's being able to offer all of yourself then. Yeah. The 10 of Cups is there. There's no question. And the 10 of Pentacles will come. You guys are right where you need to be. Everything is going to be just fine. All right. So with that, thank you guys very much for being in the space with me, for co-creating this reading with me. And I do genuinely hope that you guys, feel comforted by the messages here and know that you're not alone. Know that there are other people out there that understand and that are going through this stuff with you. And that, every time you choose to own a video that you've watched, or you like it, or you comment, you're adding that extra ripple of your energy to create change in the world. Paying it forward if something helped you, so it can find others more easily to help them. So I might just start calling that, the ripple effect of paying it forward. Like, just shorten it to, keep that ripple going, guys. Every now and then, for new viewers, I might go into a description on it, but regardless, thank you very much for being here. I'm so incredibly humbled and grateful to be in this position and to be able to speak these words and work with you guys. The divine love within me sees and honors the divine love within you. Namaste.